You know, that's what I mean, that's like.
Yeah, so there's
There's a lot of people that have that.
you heard about the oldest one. Since then, sometimes they just passed away. She was under the oldest.
Okay.
Not mine, but some lady was down there. She was the oldest citizen.
Yes, yeah.
Betty's meeting at Betty and she. I mean, they.
So that. Yeah.
You're on first, right? I'm sorry, you're on first. Yeah. This isn't a joint, is it? You know. Yes. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, for sure. Oh, sure.
Thank you.
I go first, so if you want to take. No, good. Okay. If you want to say, you're a good example.
We're just waiting to confirm form and then we'll.
Yeah. Oh, so we're back to these now.
So the buttons on the microphones are not working right now, so we are gonna unmute all of them. So side conversations or whispering will get checked out. Having technical difficulties in our writing center. Okay, so we have online, we have 3 people here, right? We gotta keep everybody on their toes, otherwise.
I'm looking for the agenda. You just go to the website. I know, I should just do that. Oh, here it is.
Okay, from the county to have forum for governing board.
Who is it?
Margaret or Betty.
Oh, okay.
I believe we were under the impression Margaret was attending and we put her nameplate out. So I don't know if you want to call implementation and start that. And folks on Zoom, unless I'm missing, I see we have a couple guests and I see we have our folks that are at San Jose City Hall, just confirming that Margaret or Betty are not on Zoom. Okay, thank you. Would you like to have us call the implementation board and go through that? So Chair Carmen, if you would like to start with implementation board.
Great, thank you. So we'll call the implementation board meeting to order. Can we have roll call, please?
So go ahead and do roll call for implementation board.
Ramirez. Present. Marks. Vega.
Present.
Carmen. Present. Labors.
Here.
Ho.
Here.
Candelius. Campos.
Hold on one second. Sandelis, are you online?
Oh, yeah, yes, I am. It's Candelas.
Thank you.
Campos.
Kian?
Kian.
Here.
Ballard. Beal. Anderson.
Present.
Ballard just
Thank you.
arrived.
Okay. Abby Koga. Young.
I'll be cool.
Okay.
I'll
She's
be
in a
cool.
meeting that we were in earlier.
Boy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
She was in the meeting that we were in, so she'll probably pop in shortly.
Into the conference room with you?
No, she was in Morgan Hill.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. And I see there's 4 people on Zoom. Can you just confirm for us one more time who's in the room? I see we have Ballard, Candelas,
Campos?
Campos,
And Kia.
and Kian. Thank you very much.
Bill here,
Thank you.
Bill.
Perfect. So we have confirmed quorum for implementation board and we're just waiting for governing.
Great. Yeah, it's Bill. All right, well, let's see, the report from the chairs, I will at least do mine. I have nothing to report. We'll leave that for when we get started with the governing board. The report from the Public Advisory Commission, would you like to wait for the governing board to be here? Okay. And then, public comments for items not on the agenda? Do we have anybody?
No public comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, so implementation board, we have 3 items on the consent agenda.
Excuse me, before you.
Oh,
do
sorry.
the items on consent agenda, I just want to point out that the number 11, the Brown Act resolution for the vote, it mentioned the governing board, but we will correct that before anyone signs the resolution, so it reflects the implementation board.
Great, thank you. Any other notes or questions on the consent agenda? May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Let me help. And we have to do a roll call vote. Ramirez,
Yes.
Carmen,
Yes.
Liebers,
Yes.
Ho,
Yes.
Candelas. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, you're on governing. Campos. Oh, she stepped out of the room. Keon,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Beal,
Bill.
Bell, Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we have one item of regular business for the implementation board, and that is selection of a 2026 board chair and vice chair. I will open it up for nominations for chair. Please.
I move that the chair be the same.
You think there's a term limit?
What is that?
That's it. I second that.
Get this done.
If the implementation board is fine having my attendance be up to the whims of Kaiser, then that's fine. Then I'm happy to remain as chair. And then I would then like to nominate as vice chair, Marilyn.
Second.
So Chair Carmen moved and did I hear Vega second?
Yes.
Okay. And then we need to do a roll call vote. Okay, so we have Carmen. For the roll call,
Aye.
vote. Liebers,
Aye.
Ho,
Yes.
Keon,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Campos, Ballard.
Yes.
Thank you.
And anytime anyone's interested, please let me know. We can go ahead and share.
I think it's a lifetime.
I'm gonna have to retire to not be chair of this. All right, do we have any future implementation board initiated agenda items?
We need to pull a chair up.
Shift over.
Oh.
I'm looking at the agenda. I know we
Grab a regular chair. Okay, let's.
Margaret, how you doing?
Hi, Jen. Where was it? About voting for the chair. Oh, implementation board.
All right. Squeeze in here. Thank you, ladies.
Another.
We're gonna have this tour of the house in a minute.
And then, so. And that's took care of that. And are we done? You have? Yeah.
Thank you.
So now I'm pick up.
I've seen you in a few places before.
Yeah, they're-
Let's go back to the beginning. And then if you have any report, and then the report from them.
I need to get a different second for the nominations. Our second was from board member Vega, who's on governing board, not implementation board.
Gotcha. I'll second. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is second.
Okay,
I think we're all set.
So we have.
Okay. so I will turn it over to Councilmember Levers for governing board.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm gonna call the governing board meeting to order. We need a roll call, please.
So we have board members. Ramirez,
Yes.
Vega,
Yes.
Liebers,
Yes.
Candelas,
Here.
Campos, Abekoga.
Here?
Did I say that correctly?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. We have a confirmed quorum for governing board.
Thank you. Report from the chairs. I personally don't have anything to report since our last meeting, but I will ask if there is anyone from the public. We do have a report from the Public Advisory Commission, and you're going to come forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Lee Lerner, I'm the chair of the Public Advisory Committee. We last met here on Thursday, November 6th in this room. We had a presentation from staff on the proposed revisions and modifications that will update the habitat plan, which is item number 5 on the board's agenda. The Public Advisory Committee discussed the update and confirmed that we recommend that the boards approve the update as proposed by the staff and the technical committee. Next meeting of the Public Advisory Committee is February 5th. Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone from the public that would like to speak on anything that is not on the agenda?
There are no speakers.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. Then, okay. We're gonna approve the consent calendar. I mean, consent agenda, there's 2 items on there. Both are to adopt minutes from March 20th, 25, and September 18, 25. So does anyone have any comments on that, or can we take that to vote now? No comments, all right.
In confirming these are items 1 and 2 on the joint agenda.
Yes, they're 1 and 2. All right, do I have a motion for approval on these items?
Motion. Thank you.
Second.
Roll call.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Vega,
Aye.
Carmen,
Aye.
Liebers.
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Candelas,
Yes.
Campos,
Yes.
Keon,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Bell.
Yeah.
Anderson,
Yes.
Abekoga.
It was not, since I'm gonna abstain.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to regular business, fiscal year 24-25 audit report. Who will be giving that report?
Our finance manager, go ahead, Julie.
Hi, yeah, my name is Julie
Hi.
Jakubik and I'm the Director of Finance and I'll be giving the presentation. And I'll share my screen if that's all right. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. We
Nope.
approved the request.
Okay.
You want to try sharing it again, Julie?
Yes, I will. Yep, there it is. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. And it should be in presentation mode right now. Can you see it big?
There we go, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for letting me share the audit results or the financial results of the previous fiscal year that just ended June 30th, 2025. A few highlights to start. Maybe, there we go. We had positive audit results, which is always a good thing to have. And I am joined today by the audit partner of Mays and Associates, which is our auditor, and his name is David Alvey, and he'll have a few slides at the end of this presentation as well. Another few highlights. We had a pretty significant increase in fee revenue collections this year, so that was positive. We also acquired the Richmond Ranch property this fiscal year. And our cash reserves increased year over year. They were healthy at the end of the previous fiscal year, and they remain healthy between cash on hand and investments of excess cash. So I'll go through sort of the financial position at the end of the fiscal year on June 30th, and then I'll go through the revenues and expenditures throughout the year. So we'll start with assets. As I mentioned, our cash balance is strong. It increased by $5 million year over year. We also had about a $6 million increase in capital assets, which is mainly the acquisition of Richmond Ranch. And I have one small side note. The component unit Friends of Santa Clara Valley Habitat Agency became a fiscal agent for an unrelated organization this year. Just to note that none of that organization's assets are included in any of these numbers or this presentation. They're not commingled. It's just a sort of fiscal agent role that Friends played on their behalf.
Have these old binders in, I guess.
Any questions on that?
Favorite.
Okay. On the liability side, just a really small increase, mainly driven by an increase in compensated absences and an increase in AP, just timing of vendor payments. Pretty standard. And net position increased by $11.7 million. And this was great because it was kind of split between an increase in capital assets of the $6 million. But there was also an operating surplus of $3.5 million. So we kind of kept things afloat on both ends. And then our restricted cash, which is our endowment, increased by $2.2 million. And we regularly, every quarter, make contributions to the endowment based on a calculation that has been approved. So all in all, everything looks good on this end. Going into revenues, this is a slide that shows sort of historical revenues over the past several years. This is a little bit tricky of a slide because it includes both capital revenues and operating. And as you can see, the prior fiscal year had a lot of revenues, and those were mostly capital. So it's kind of a misleading graph. If you strip out the capital revenues, you can see that we actually had quite an increase in fee revenue collections in the fiscal year. So that's great. So for revenues, as I mentioned, we had that fee revenue increase of $5.8 million. On the operating grant side, we had just under $2 million in operating grants for a variety of conservation strategy implementation projects that we have ongoing. We had $6.5 million in capital contributions. You can see that it's kind of not really comparable to prior year because prior year was so big. And on the investment side, for any excess cash that we have, we obviously want to invest that, and we continue to have good gains or interest income on that excess cash. In the past fiscal year, it was about $1.4 million in revenues. So on the fee revenue side, this is just a breakout by fee type. So land cover, you can see a big increase in the current fiscal year. Land cover is basically anything that's not covered by the other four categories that are here that we'll go through. Serpentine fees have a higher price per acre, and you can see those fees also went up significantly. Nitrogen deposition fees went up slightly, definitely not as big as the other fee types. Burrowing owl, we didn't have any activity this year or last year on that. And wetland mitigation fees, again, went up about 1.5 million. And last but not least, on the expense side, we had pretty, as we grow, our expenses will grow as well, especially the conservation strategy implementation, which is the biggest chunk of expenses, but they do fluctuate based on how much we take in revenue and are able to spend. So this year we had 7.8 million, which was a pretty small increase year over year. And that was driven by a few things. On the admin side, we had our 5-year periodic fee review this year. So once every 5 years, we have consultants that we have to pay to do that review and publish it. So this was the lucky year, and that plus increased employee costs, just employee and benefit costs, but also we hired a few people as well. So that contributed to that increase. And then conservation strategy implementation is tied directly to field costs, and that is obviously the biggest chunk of our expenses. And that's about all I have. But I will introduce David, if you're there, David.
I'm here.
This is David Alvey. He is the audit partner of Mays and Associates. And I should say, if there are any questions on my slides, I can take them after David's presentation. So take it away.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, board members. My name is David Alvey. I'm a CPA and audit partner at Mays and Associates, and we are the Habitat Agency's independent external auditor. And my role during this audit process, do you want me to share my slides as well, Julia? Yeah, 1 second, give me half a second here, sorry. Perfect. So my role during the audit process is to come in and to issue an audit opinion on whether or not the financials are accurate and free from material misstatement. Before I get into that, I just want to do a really quick high-level overview of the audit process. Although we actually do the audit for the agency in a single week, we actually break it into 2 phases in our auditor mind. We have an interim phase where we're looking at internal controls in the final phase. So during the interim phase, that's when we're testing the bones of the internal control structure. We're making sure that there's checks and balances, that not a single person can initiate, approve, and book a transaction without a second set of eyes, because that could be right for error, but that could also be right for fraud. And we start this phase with a brainstorming session from the audit partner down to the associate, and we look at the agency from an outside perspective of where we think the risks of material misstatement would be. And then we custom tailor our audit plan to mitigate those risks and do the testing to make sure that there's good checks and balances and segregation of duties. Once we assess how the segregation of duties are, or if there are separation or not, that dictates how much work we have to do in the balances once we start looking at the balances at June 30 for our final phase. So during our final phase, we're looking at your cash and investments. All those balances are being vouched, traced back to bank statements and that sort of thing. We use audit confirmations, and then we do what's called an analytical review, where we look at last year's ending balances compared to current year and ask questions. Why did certain fees go up? Why did certain expenses go down? And then we test those responses from staff against what we're seeing in our audit work. Okay. Oop. There we go. So it really comes down to the audit opinion, and it's on page 1 of your financials. And technically, this is the only piece of this report that my firm owns. And I'm pleased to say that it is a clean audit opinion. And that's the highest level of assurance that a CPA firm can give an entity. So congratulations, you got a free or a clean audit opinion. And really, it goes to the fact that your financials are in conformity with general accepted accounting principles, also known as GAAP, and there's no material misstatements. So congratulations. We also issue what's called a memorandum on internal controls and required communications. And this is also known as a management letter. And it's my firm's communication to this governing board of things that we found during the audit. And I'm going to start from the bottom up on this slide. So the way the findings are categorized is a material weakness, a significant deficiency, and then an other matter. A material weakness would be that something material can flow through that internal control process and end up on the face of your financial statements causing a material misstatement. We have none of those. The second is significant deficiency, that something significant can flow through that internal control process and end up as a significant issue on your financials. We have nothing to report there. And the other is catch-all, is other matters. And the only thing that we have in there is upcoming government accounting standards board pronouncements over the next couple of years. There's nothing major coming down the pipeline, so that's good news. The second half of this, the required communication. Auditing standards require that I tell you that we had no disagreements with management. We had no disagreements with management's accounting assumptions. As accountants, we have to make assumptions, whether that be fair market value of assets like capital assets, or even useful life of depreciable assets, how long that life will be. Those are all estimates. And so we test those. We had no issues. We found no unusual transactions. We found nothing that lacked backup or authoritative guidance. And we don't think that the agency had a second auditor waiting in the wings just in case we didn't issue that unmodified audit. And again, these audit standards, these are across the board. So from, small little district all the way up to, larger entities. So we have to just make sure we follow those procedures. And with that, I'll just open up to any questions you might have. And I just want to thank Julia and Denise and Jill for all their help. You guys got a great staff.
Thank you for the report. Do we have any questions for either Julia or this gentleman on the budget? I'm very pleased to hear that everything's all in order, and that's good news for us. And so thank you very much for joining our meeting, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to present and also to serve the agency. It's a pleasure. It's a privilege.
Yeah, I guess we'll see you next year.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right,
Good
thank
evening.
you.
So we don't have to vote on this. All we did was receive the report. So moving on to number 4, final report, fiscal year. That we just went through that too. Review, yeah, that's, so actually we took care of number 4 also. But that, yeah, we reviewed it, so we don't need any action on that one either. So now we move to number 5, which is the habitat plan draft amended approval. And I see we have read back. Thank you.
This presentation showing up for.
Not yet.
Can you see it, David?
No.
Is it on our screen too, or just over there?
Here it comes. There you go.
It'll
We
be
see it.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Chairperson Liebers, Carmen, and honorable members of our board. We've reached something of a milestone in the processing of our first proposed major amendment to the habitat plan. As shared in the staff report and provided to you all last September, we now have a complete revised habitat plan available for public review. We've maintained a web page dedicated to the amendment since I think early 2024. And the most current version of one that you're considering today has been posted on that page for the past 4 months.
So that's not.
Go. So as a reminder, here are the primary drivers for the plan amendment. Dozens of other changes are described in more detail in the staff report, and there are hundreds of smaller changes just sort of peppered throughout the draft chapters that are easily identified as track change edits. All changes were considered in the context of whether they would make our plan, the existing plan, better. Is it easier to implement? Is it easier to understand? Does it expand coverage? We entertained quite a few proposals in the process and had to shoot down some dreams, but we ended up with the best possible product, I think, in the end. And I'll be happy to revisit any of the items on this list or any other questions you have about any other draft chapter language after a couple more slides here. Going backwards. There we go. So a key objective for us was to ensure that these changes could be implemented with minimal or no increase in cost to the plan. Is the pain going to be worth the gain? That's kind of what we were thinking of. We capitalized on the fact that we already have a successful conservation strategy that can easily accommodate and benefit the new species with just a few changes in our land management approach. And we've already protected over 16,000 acres of land, fully 1/3 of our land protection requirement at only 1/4 of the way through the permit term. This land is already providing an undocumented benefit to these new species. So accommodating them will not be problematic. It will, in fact, be logical. As you can see on this slide, we have met the objective, and the total plan cost would actually be reduced overall if this amendment is approved. I keep going the wrong way here, sorry about that. 2 steps backward. This is an excerpt from the draft Appendix P, which was developed to help explain how the cost analysis was conducted for the plan amendment. While most changes are negligible, the biggest savings come from reducing the impact assumptions to 4 categories of aquatic resource land cover types. Reducing these impact assumptions based on the pace of development we've seen in the county through 25% of the permit term translates to a corresponding decrease in required acres of restoration. And as you can see, that change alone resulted in reduced cost to the habitat plan by $21 million over the next 35 years. Let's see if I think I did it right there. Yep. With an amended habitat plan, the benefits to our co-committees are very clear, and this is by design. After we identified the need for an amendment, we consulted with our co-committees to find out what changes they saw a need for. Those changes have been negotiated with the wildlife agencies ad nauseum and are found where they were agreed to in several different chapters of the amended plan. If any of you have questions about any of the bulleted items here, we'll come back to it and I can give you more detail about them. The wildlife agencies who issued our programmatic take permits are likely to approve this amendment because we've spent the better part of 4 years negotiating with them. Also, the benefits listed here are important to their staff, and these changes would further assist them in enforcing the state and federal Endangered Species Acts. And no, I did go backwards again. Last but not least, here are some benefits to the Habitat Agency itself as we continue implementation of the plan. Our focus here was to increase efficiency and remove unnecessary or unproductive requirements. So in the grand sweep of the amendment proposal, co-permittees wanted the expansion of coverage. The wildlife agencies wanted a conservation plan and appropriate mitigation for impacts to the 7 new species, special status species. And we simply want to make it easier to do our job. As of Tuesday, all co-committee governing bodies, I think I saw a couple of you there on Tuesday, have reviewed and approved our proposed amendment to the habitat plan. All approval requests were on consent agendas, but appropriate staff, legal counsel, and elected officials were engaged at some level as needed. Here's another look at the process. We're on step 4. If your board takes action to approve the request today, then we'll spend the next couple months ironing out the few remaining issues before submitting this as a formal request to amend our habitat plan and programmatic take permits. It'll take some time for the wildlife agencies to review and approve, But when they do, we will return with a final version that will hopefully look very much like what you're seeing today. I will also note that if or when this board approves the final amendment, maybe by the end of the year, the jurisdictional co-committees will need to seek approval of their implementing ordinances to ensure that the revised habitat plan is codified with them. So without further ado, here is our request for your board at this time. Number one, approve the draft amended Santa Clara Valley Habitat Plan. And number two, authorize our executive officer to submit the draft amended habitat plan as a formal request to the wildlife agencies. And I am happy to answer any questions any of you might have.
Do we have any questions?
I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
My first question is actually slide 4 of that presentation that you just had. I noticed that the numbers were in 2017, 2018 dollars. Is that a problem?
No, that was because we go through these 5-year fee reviews that you just heard a reference to, and the last 5-year fee review used those numbers. So we couldn't use a future fee review that we're just about ready to approve to true up the numbers that'll have to happen later on.
Got it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
My next question is in your board memo, you have a table with the schedule and it shows the CEQA NEPA process. I'm looking at that timetable that has the orange bars.
Right.
The CEQA NEPA process being complete as of December 2025.
Yep.
However, attached to the memo is the administrative draft addendum that's dated December 2025.
That should have been an update. Those bars should have continued on into the future. So you're absolutely right. We have an administrative draft. We don't have a final draft addendum. We're not even absolutely certain that CDFW is going to accept the addendum, and maybe they want something different, a different type of environmental clearance. It was our assumption that that was going to be sufficient. We didn't hear anything to the contrary, so we kept it the same, but now it's sort of in question. It'll be the wildlife agencies need to have environmental clearance, so that's when that's going to be ironed out. It'll be kind of they'll want CEQA clearance before they can reissue our permits. It's anticipated that their clearance document, as well as Fish and Wildlife Service clearance document, will be available for this board when they take the final action to approve the plan amendment at the end of the year.
Okay, got it. So because this board saw the draft plan amendment in September, November, a couple of times, but this, I just want to confirm, this is the first time that we're seeing the draft addendum to the CEQA document.
That's correct. I think we posted it in December. So it's if it does change, it won't change much. But basically, that's going to be more or less what we propose to CDFW.
Okay, and can you walk through the public review process for that CEQA addendum?
Sure.
If there is any?
Yeah, and that's the appropriate question. There is not a public review process for an addendum.
Right.
An addendum under CEQA simply identifies that the existing EIR, programmatic EIR, is sufficient, and that none of the new changes increase the potential for impacts beyond what was previously analyzed. Since everything is kind of status quo in terms of our take limits, in fact, we're reducing take limits. There's no need to expand it for additional to become like an addenda or a supplemental or subsequent EIR. The feds, in terms of NEPA, it's possible this is going to be an environmental assessment, but that's up to them to prepare it, make the determination, and then make the preparation of that document. So sorry, but I don't have any answer for federal environmental clearance for you today.
Thank you.
Sure.
Do we have any other questions?
I have a question.
Oh,
Shiloh,
okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. This is Shiloh with the Water District, and I want to preface my comments and questions by first saying, as I was reading the briefing packets and then had some questions for Valley Water staff, they just hammered home the point that it is such a joy to work with the Habitat Conservation Agency staff, and that they love working with you all. So I wanted to make sure that that's said.
Thank you.
Yeah, well received.
And I also want to, acknowledge the fact that this is years in the making, and this is a lot, it's clear that it is a ton of work, bringing everybody along for this kind of amendment. So kudos to you all, and I say that because I'm not here to blow up the process, but I did want to just express some concerns. And I'm not here to blow up the process, especially since Valley Water's Board of Directors was the first board to approve this amendment like years ago. I wasn't on the board then, but I'm here to represent those interests. And I also want to acknowledge I'm in the San Jose City Hall conference room surrounded by City of San Jose folks, and I may be about to say stuff that will offend them.
The staff, not us. I'm good.
But getting to, when you dig into the bowels of the staff report and you get to the pieces that are describing what the specific edits are to the different chapters, I was focused on the owl piece of things, the burrowing owl piece of things. And I want to just make sure that I understand things correctly, since I am new here. And then if I do, just express some strong concerns about if I am understanding things correctly. And that is that it sounds like we've basically blown through our, the habitat, whatever the terms are in terms of burrowing owls. We expected that we were going to need a certain amount of cover. We've kind of blown through that. And so now we're at a point where we're like, gosh, given what the city of San Jose wants to do in North San Jose, we need more, we need to be able to take more of the owl habitat and then, hopefully revive the population in some other area, Coyote Valley or wherever it may be. But I have this much right, correct?
Yes, so far.
Okay, great. The reason we're expanding the amount of cover for burrowing owls is because one of the things that the city of San Jose is moving forward on is aggressively recruiting data centers to North San Jose. Is that correct?
Yes.
Ish. Yeah.
I'm seeing nodding heads around the table.
Right.
And so I find that sad. And I just wanted to make it very clear the trade-off that we're putting on the table. And it's not just about owls, right? Like owls is the thing that we're discussing here, but we're essentially taking undeveloped, swampland, wetlands, areas in North San Jose that I don't think should be developed. When I was on the planning commission, those were the one projects I always voted against because I don't believe that we should be developing in these undeveloped areas where nature is serving a vital, vital function. And, yet we're moving forward with paving over this land. There's impacts to the owls. Now we can argue over whether that habitat is really hospitable for owls at this point in time because of all the stuff that we've done in North San Jose. So I just wanted to make that statement and also, highlight the fact that I've served on a couple general plan update task forces with the city of San Jose. The first one, we essentially opened up Coyote Valley. We're paving the way for development in Coyote Valley. The second general plan update, we had a change of heart at the city of San Jose, and we moved growth out of that area so that it paved the way for Coyote Valley to now be an area that we are all getting behind to protect. The city of San Jose is now in the process of updating their general plan. So I just raised that opportunity as the two council members that I'm sitting with. I don't know how you might feel about that trade-off between, paving the way for data centers and, removing prime land out of this very important natural function that it serves. Where we then end up having to build levees with public tax dollars to protect these uses. So I just wanted to highlight that. And I don't know if it's something that can, this plan is going to move forward. Like I said, I don't want to blow up the process, but I just wanted to highlight that trade-off that we're making so that we can have these particular uses in an area where perhaps maybe they shouldn't be, or we can put them somewhere else. And perhaps there's a statement that we can make as a board about that trade-off and how we feel about that. So anyway, that's what I wanted to highlight for folks. And I don't know if anyone else has thought about that or noticed that part in the plan amendment specific to burrowing owls, but that was what I wanted to highlight.
Thank you, Member Ballard. Appreciate the comment.
Yes, we do appreciate your comment. Thank you very much. And as they're working through this, if you would like to send a written statement to this group that's working on this to include that the board is not on board with this massive building, we could then agendize that and at our next meeting decide if we wanted to support your recommendation. So we can't do anything tonight, but we can definitely support you by asking you to give us something in writing and we'll put it on an agenda and we'll see. We don't want to make enemies, but sometimes it's important that we put our statement out there of how we feel about this. So I'll leave that up to you since you brought it to us, but I do agree with you. How important is the trade-off? Unfortunately, the little owls don't bring in any money, but big data centers do. So I think it's kind of an upward battle, but it's still okay for us to say we're not in agreement with this. So I'll leave it up to you, and our next meeting, if you wanted to agendize, we will definitely accept that and have more conversation about it. So Jim, you had more?
Yeah, the burrowing owl sanctuary between 237 and sewage treatment plant, basically, lands were set aside as a preservation sanctuary for the burrowing owl. Okay, that was actually done, and we actually corresponded with the city of San Jose. Actually corresponded with the federal and state government, making those statements that that would be a sanctuary. That would be a sanctuary that we wouldn't interfere with. Okay, so any changes to that might engage the federal and state government in terms of reviewing why they're doing it without asking, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's an issue. People do care about the burrowing owls. We were killing them quite a bit in the San Jose airport. They were nesting in the airport. And we really spent a lot of time working on finding the habitat for the burrowing owls so they can be safe. And that was decided that it would be the sanctuary for them. Okay, so I'm just giving you a little history, but I think a lot of the airport improvement plan mentions the burrowing owls, the sewage treatment plant mentions the burrowing owls, and the transportation system mentions the burrowing owls. Okay, and it was all kind of agreed that there would be a habitat sanctuary created. And that's how that area was created. Okay.
And the city did set aside 201 acres of that buffer lands, they call it. And, you know, we have city people here who can probably address this as better than I can.
Yeah.
But so, and we have a conservation easement over that 201.
Yeah.
It's the other 300, 400 acres, whatever it is, was always earmarked for development.
So in my opinion, there's a need for compensation, if you want to say it that way.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim. It's always great when we have people that have been on this board for a long time. Decide
government's going to do something. I mean,
like our city councils, the people that go. So it is perhaps something you want to just review to make sure that they're not encroaching on anything that was promised. I don't, how long ago was that?
I'm still elected, so it's not that long ago. So in my opinion, I'm still here.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so
Okay, so
it
maybe.
doesn't matter how long ago.
Okay, thank you. So, and
Here.
and I think that's a good point.
Through the chair, if I may opine, this is Candelas in San Jose.
Yes,
I wanted to just quickly talk about a couple things. One is to thank Director Ballard for her comments on the need to proceed with caution and the potential trade-offs that we, as wearing my habitat agency director hat, have to have with regards to the responsibility on protecting and mitigating development impacts and or protecting our wildlife. This is actually a concern that was brought up when we started talking about this project specifically. The data centers and the advanced manufacturing potential in the lands adjacent to the water treatment plant during our treatment plant advisory committee meeting late last year, and a board member actually brought up the burrowing owl habitat that Director Bell mentioned, and specifically with regards to what we discussed, the area is outside of that dedicated sanctuary. However, it is nearby. But I also want to remind folks that this is the delicate balance that we, not just as elected officials, but specifically in San Jose as city leaders, we have to grapple with potential development impacts, not just to our environment, but also to the human impact of it, whether it's lack of revenue to provide city service like police and fire, and or our ability to provide affordable housing for residents. Again, it's a balance, but we still have a full environmental impact report that is currently underway to figure out specifically on this project and future projects on this development opportunity in North San Jose, at what that cost is going to be and the environmental impacts of this project. So we go in eyes wide open and we don't end up inadvertently, creating this burrowing owl and whatever other precious animals may live there that I may not know about with this part of development. But point is well taken, and I don't want to dive too much more into this, given it's veering off into its own policy area and the item in itself. But this is a point well taken, and I just wanted to express my appreciation and to directors who spoke. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for your input. We appreciate it. I have a question. Could you tell me the 7 new animal species that have been added?
Yeah, the ones we're contemplating adding.
Yes.
Monarch butterfly, large marble butterfly, Crotch's bumblebees. We have 3 pollinator species. The rest of them are wildlife species. 2 birds, loggerhead shrike, which is a very cute but deadly bird in its own right. Swainson's hawk, badger, and mountain lion.
Excellent, thank you.
And the shrike's nickname is the butcher bird. So
Really? Okay, all right. Thank you. It was a test. You passed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, if you didn't have those memorized by now.
oh, I'd have to take disciplinary action or something.
Okay, well, thank you. And does anyone else have any questions? No? Okay. Well, on this particular item, we have 2 things we have to do. We have to approve the draft amended water Santa Clara Valley Habitat Plan. Okay, and then we also have to authorize the executive director to submit the amendment. So can we do it in one, or do we have to do 2 separate?
I believe we can do one motion. I would defer to Valerie, and then we do need to open public comment as well.
Okay,
2 motions.
let's see if we can do it. Yeah.
Oh, one motion is
Okay, all right. Well, so now I'd like to open it to public comment. Do I have anyone in the audience or online?
There are no speakers.
Okay, thank you. Now I need a motion for item number 1 and 2. It would be,
I will move the staff recommended action.
okay. We have 2 motions. We need 1 second. Somebody second it.
I'll second.
Okay. All right.
And then
Need a roll call vote, please?
I'll highlight it. Ramirez,
Yes.
Vega,
Aye.
Carmen,
Aye.
Liebers,
Campos,
Yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Bell,
Yep.
Anderson,
Yes.
Alba Koga.
Aye.
And that passes.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Very
Thank
much
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for your good report. Item number 3, we just did, we reviewed it, so, let's see, I think that was the last thing on our side.
I believe we still have items 6 and 7 on the governing board consent. We did the joint ones, but we need to do the governing board.
Okay.
6, 7, and 8.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Next on our consent calendar, we have, approve the minutes for June 13th, 25. So I need a motion on that, or if any.
And Chair, we can actually do 6 items, 6, 7, and 8 altogether because they are the consent agenda for
True.
governing.
Does anyone want to pull anything off of those 3 items, or can we just do it, roll it into one vote?
I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Okay. Did I have a second?
Second.
All right.
And then do a roll
I
call.
call for roll call vote.
This is just governing. So we're just gonna call those highlighted ones. Okay.
Levers? Aye. Vega?
Aye.
Candelas?
Yes.
Campos?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Abakoga?
Aye.
Need a different second. Bell's, member Bell's not on.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. These two boards just
Yes.
join, very confusing.
I'll second. I think,
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, and then I believe we also have item 9 on the governing board agenda, which is selection of the governing board chair and vice chair.
Yeah, this is now into regular business, and item 9 is for the following year to select chair and vice chair. Do I have any nominations from the floor?
I'm on the.
You can't get right.
I nominate that you continue as chair.
Oh, well, thank you, Mrs. Maris, okay. Do we have a vice chair? Can I nominate Kelly Ramirez from Gilbert, please?
Second.
Second.
Okay, so we're gonna roll them both together?
Yeah.
All right. Any discussion? Any public comment? Okay.
Miss Angel.
And then
All for
we'll,
roll, all vote.
and it's just gonna be these.
Levers? Aye. Vega?
Aye.
Candelas?
Yes.
Campos?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Abakoga?
Aye.
Okay. Pass. And unless I'm mistaken, I think that just leaves us with future items for governing and implementation.
Okay. So that passed, thank you. Are there any future governing board initiated agenda items that I'd like to see at our next meeting? I hope the Valley Water lady chimes in, so, okay. Anyway, and then you have to do any for your board?
I did.
Oh, you already did yours. Oh, okay. All right. Seeing none. Okay, our next meeting is
March 19th, I think.
Yeah, is the next joint meeting.
Yeah, it's on the end of the agenda.
okay. So March 19th, and it's a joint meeting again.
Correct.
Okay.
Good job.
Good job. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you, Senator Bell.